The Duchess of Edinburgh and the Princess of Wales. Two women who are similar in more ways than one, but how did they actually feel about each other? If you've seen The Crown, you might think you know how King Charles first met Diana Spencer. But, in fairness, this scene is fairly heavily embellished. All we know for sure is that Charles met Diana when she was only a teen. He remarked in their engagement interview in 1981,
Well, I remember thinking what a very jolly and amusing and attractive 16-year-old she was.
Charles and Diana walked down the aisle a few months later when she was 20 and he was 32. Reflecting on her wedding years later, Diana described herself as the sacrificial lamb. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, meanwhile, was an adult with a thriving public relations career when she married into the royal family in 1999. Born Sophie Rhys-Jones, she was 22 when she met her husband, Prince Edward, and 34 when they got married. When Sophie started dating Prince Edward in 1993, Princess Diana was already a seasoned royal wife. Born only 4 years after Diana, Sophie once complained in an interview that she'd been compared to the Princess of Wales since she was only 15. She told the Daily Mail, "I don't deny that we do look alike, but I couldn't ever compete with Diana's image. I'm not Diana." However, this didn't stop the Los Angeles Times from dubbing Sophie "identical" to her future sister-in-law.
I'm seeing double here. 4 crusties!
Diana reportedly didn't try to make Sophie feel better behind closed doors either. The Princess of Wales died before Sophie married into the family, but the two met when Sophie and Edward were dating. According to Andrew Morton's book, Diana in Pursuit of Love, the interaction left Sophie feeling intimidated. At a family gathering, Diana allegedly stared intensely at Sophie during tea time with the royal family. Sophie reportedly left the encounter in tears. Princess Diana was an undeniable style icon by the time Sophie started dating Prince Edward. Her short blonde hair was especially influential. As Vogue India notes, she inspired thousands, if not millions of women across the globe to embrace abbreviated cuts with soft, side-swept bangs worn loose or teased up with blasts of Aquanet to gravity-defying effect. Sophie was apparently one of those women. Tall, with short blonde hair, she couldn't have been surprised when the comparisons came flooding in, but it still must have stung when the press reported that Diana was privately expressing annoyance at Sophie's copycat style. And it wasn't just the press who noticed the resemblance. Royal correspondent Judy Wade reported that when Diana saw Sophie, she would mutter, "Oh look, here comes my double." It wasn't only Sophie's appearance that allegedly raised Princess Diana's hackles. Diana also thought Prince Edward's then-girlfriend was copying other aspects of her lifestyle. Diana was known for her tailored, streamlined 90s outfits, for example, and she apparently thought Sophie was mimicking them. In a royal documentary, Judy Wade claimed Diana had said, "She really ought to get her own look, and there are plenty of things she could do. She could dress in softer, less tailored clothes just to find her own look." Not even Sophie's fitness routine was safe from Diana's ire. Diana famously worked out at the chic Harbour Club in Chelsea. Of course, it makes sense that Sophie, who dealt with royal security concerns just like Diana, might pick a gym that was accustomed to Diana's comings and goings, but Diana reportedly took Sophie's membership there as yet another attempt at copying her. Wade went on, "She's done too many things that I know used to irritate Diana. She even went to lose weight and keep fit at the Chelsea Harbour Club, which was Diana's famous fitness centre." Royal women adhere to a strict dress code, one that leaves them without many options for differentiating their personal styles from that of their fellow duchesses or princesses. Perhaps that's why people are constantly accusing Meghan Markle of dressing like Kate Middleton, or vice versa. Do royal women copy each other's outfits due to a lack of creativity or a lack of options? It's a tricky question. When it comes to Diana and Sophie, though, Diana's opinion was clear. Judy Wade explained, "She just seemed to be aping Diana, and Diana was sort of partly amused and partly irritated by it." Princess Diana was thrown into the deep end when she became involved with the royal family at just 19 years old. Sophie, however, reportedly received totally different treatment, and this may have contributed to Diana's disdain for her. For one thing, Sophie reportedly enjoyed the privilege of calling her royal boyfriend by his first name. Meanwhile, Diana had to call Prince Charles Sir until they were engaged. Sophie also eased into royal life with a 5-year courting period, while Charles only courted Diana for less than a year before they tied the knot. Adding insult to injury, Sophie got to live with Prince Edward and test drive royal life before she accepted an engagement. Diana had no such experience. As Sophie took it slow, she received rave reviews from the royal family and the public alike. One Express headline trumpeted that Sophie excelled in royal life where Diana failed. As a result, Diana allegedly called Sophie Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes and, according to the New York Post, asked Sarah Ferguson, "Why is she getting such an easy ride? We were thrown to the wolves." Princess Diana left the royal family in a blaze of scandal, just as Sophie was entering the fold.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
As Diana was spilling to Martin Bashir about her infidelity-ridden marriage and her doubts that Prince Charles would make a good king, Sophie was carving out her own place in the family as a reliable and quiet royal wife. But her record with the royals hasn't been spotless. For example, Sophie once fell prey to a scammer known as the Fake Sheikh. Sophie was still working as a publicist in 2001 when, 2 years after she'd married into the royal family, an undercover journalist recorded her spilling some secrets about the firm. She referred to the Queen Mother as the old lady and jibed Charles and Camilla for their lack of popularity. The scandal resulted in worldwide coverage and accusations that Sophie was using her royal connections for professional gain.